Are we doing it? Doing it again? Now, can I update the live stream with the new thing? Live stream updated. So I can announce it. But if I edit, update. I'm just trying to mess with stream.place here. Is it updated? No, it still shows the old name. What the heck? Okay, fine. What if I do this? Oh, God. Okay, whatever. All right, back at it. Back at this. Back at this. God damn. Interior screenshot. I guess. Okay, now. I don't understand why on a Mac, like, copy just doesn't work. Like, how many freaking times pound, pound, pound on the copy key and it just doesn't freaking go? Unbelievable. Okay, I guess the only way to do it is to announce it. I don't know. Updating it doesn't seem to work. Whatever. All right. So where was I? We know why we're implementing internal caching. Because we need to. This Greek wine. I don't know what this weird thing they had, like just all of these. Oh, it's Slater. I was just saying, the Greek wine is. They just like flooded the zone with it, and I was like, well, as long as it's like not freaking oaky AF. And so yeah, got me in a Certico, but it's not bad. I would say that it's pungent. It is especially grapey. You know, like white wine isn't always especially grapey. Well, this is like particularly grapey. Not in a bad way, though. Anyway, okay, so we are basically doing this with, we're like trying to see if the frickin' Ethernet cable is gonna, not cable, but the Ethernet, the dongle, speaking of words to not be, to watch, is gonna crap out because it's been doing that. But what's on the screen is this thing planning itself, basically. We have the problem with, where is it? Did you see this, Slater? Of course it's slow because I'm running all sorts of shizzle, shadoodle. The Northwestern Kingdom. Shizzle. It's still warming up because I just restarted it. It's a radial hyperbolic graph, Slater. So the red guys are issues, and the green ones are positions, and the blue ones are arguments. And so the issue at hand is that Google is turning off XSLT. They're taking it out of Chrome. And normally I would say that makes sense because it's got vols in it. libXSLT's got vols in it. But this time around, I'm like, I kind of use that. I kind of use it for all sorts of stuff. I use it for like template processing and whatever. I use it in this. And so what's got to happen is I gotta create a server-side XSLT transform, because one day what's going to happen is Google's going to push an update to Chrome, and every single one of my web properties is going to go bye-bye. Well, I mean, it'll just turn into like a white page with blue links kind of a thing, which is like more or less what they are. Extension, then what? Every single person who comes to my website, please download the extension so you can see the web page. Like, what is this, 1996? So, yeah. Please download this thing so you can use the thing. So anyway, the solution is obviously to create a server-side, the proximate solution. Let's create a server-side XSLT transform. But then there's another issue, and the other issue was that we were relying on browser cache to keep the XSLT from being intolerably slow, which is apparently being intolerably slow right now. Is pain in my ass. So, it's so funny, like, this isn't even the same machine that's running this, and it's like, I think I'm just gonna like take a break. Every time you go on stream, we're just gonna chill for a bit. Anyway. Yeah, so we were relying on browser cache, so this is an issue. The issue is we were relying on browser cache to keep XSLT from being intolerably slow. Well then, the response is to implement internal caching. You're taking your sweet frickin' time. So yes, that's where we started. We're implementing internal caching. Now, so where we were at was how the heck are we going to represent the metadata? Oh no, wait, we did this already. Look at black. So this was yesterday. How are we going to do this? How are we going to implement the representation? And what I ended up doing was I made this little, let me just see something here. Oh yeah. We made this little, well, by we I mean I, made this little ontology for dealing with. So like this would be the cache entry, this thing right here. So that's cool. That was yesterday's job. And then going back here, so that's all done and dealt with, and that's, you can see the task is complete. So now the question is, what about the actual entities? What about the stuff that's going to go in the cache? And that's what I'm working on right now. Is planning all that out. Any goddamn time. Okay. So this is, we've got subtasks here. Is it just the one? Oh yes, of course. There is just the one on this one, because this is the one where we, and now we're real slowing down. This is, yes, so extend store to digest in such ways that an entry ought to be treated as cache. Seems simple enough, except store digest is the content addressable store that I wrote. It backs, I mean, it currently backs onto LMDB. It's been designed to sort of back onto whatever in the abstract. But anyway, there's a bunch of like tasks and issues. So like, indicate to the engine the giving hash content. Yeah, I don't understand what that is, but what if a cache entity is superseded by an entity that's durable? We figured that out. Counting cache. Okay, so this. This is a sort of crucial issue here. Is it's going to get an incompatibility. So like this stuff is like real bare metal, right? Like it's you know, it's not SQL. It's just a key value database. Because that's all you need. It's real fast. It's LMDB. Other stuff is comparable. So, where was I at here? So the thing about this, though, is that this is actually a special case of just changing the metadata layout. Oh, yeah, Slater's gone. Bye. Changing the metadata layout. I knew this wouldn't last long. There's like a glass and a half in this bottle. Oh, maybe a little closer to 2. Come on. All right. All right, so the issue is that changing the metadata layout in the store digest will make it incompatible with already initialized stores. Now, here's the thing: is I don't actually really know, like, you know, I think it even says this. Oh no, it doesn't. Does it? Well, yeah, we don't know how many are in here. But so you know, create a mechanism that upgrades. So this is the issue that I'm just like trying to probe out right now. And that is, this is going to raise the issue that this is going to raise the issue that an extant, so this, we don't want to surprise people. It may surprise us, so we don't, surprising, it will surprise somebody. We don't want to take people by surprise, forcing them into upgrading their data store. And the reason why so it's like, okay, you can imagine where are we here? So the issue, so this responds to an issue. I need to figure out a way to like put the chats from all three of these things into the, so this the sidebar, that like void, so like I'm using a framework laptop which has a 3x2 screen, which is why like this is like CumSaw. And so, anyway. But I had initially thought about using this area for chat. But I have not yet determined how to implement that. I'm sure there's plenty of ways. I'm sure it's a doable thing. That just like I got only so much time in my day, and it's the last. Anyway, okay. Create a variant of the metadata driver. Yeah, so. Metadata driver for both the old and the new version of the database layout. And this other thing too is we're going to create a mechanism that upgrades the old metadata. So we are suggesting that we don't want people to be jarred by. Where did that go actually? Reload it. Or was that it? That was it. Jesus Christ. I'm a moron. It's going to be interesting when I like pull a lot more of this stuff to the front end. Anyway. Hmm. Why is everything slow now? The other machine is slow. And they got nothing to do with each other. Okay. So yeah, we don't want to take people by surprise by forcing them to upgrade their data store. There's going to be all sorts of other stuff happening. No way. Yeah, so the resolution to that is actually, yeah, so yeah. Detect what version the metadata store is and wine. This should just be a specializes of, what was this? Specializes of create a mechanism. So I can already tell this is like obviously pre-alpha. So it's like I can already tell like just how goofy and weird some of this stuff is. Actually, this is more like a task. Subtask. Why is this slowing down? Why are you so slow? Ermagerd. Get why it slows down though. That's weird. I'm thinking a lot about how to model this task stuff. This is like all new-ish. This is probably create a variant subtask. I don't understand why it slows right down. You get snappy and then you slow down. What is happening? The other one is a subtask. Subtask, create a new mechanism. Bye-bye, Assertico. Can we silence the whining? And the answer is yes. I like about this layout is that you can really tell when you're getting out into the weeds. This I need to fix. Part of the reason why this is slow is that there is only a single modification timestamp on the entire graph database. And the only reason why it has that is because I hacked it in there. And like graph databases as a rule, I mean like RDF quad stores like just don't, there's a lot of just like basic stuff that like quad stores just don't, like it's just like everyday usage stuff to the extent that like I'm not entirely sure like what the heck people are using them for, like because like part of the reason why I'm using a super basic quad store that I basically, I mean I did basically I wrote it, is because it doesn't have like it, I mean they're just dirt easy to write, and like what I'm using it for is like super chatty, so it's just generally like I need a locally attached database. And so, you know, you can't do, and like Sparkle too, like the RDF answer to SQL is basically like the Sparkle processors that are out there, like they don't do like cost-based optimization. Like the notion of like indexing and whatever, like indexing actually, like I'm of the mind that you could totally like use freaking machine learning for indexing, because you just like watch the usage patterns, like you just like you have a thing that watches the usage patterns of the database and be like, oh, like a lot of people are trying to request this particular thing, so maybe we should index it. Like, and I mean there's stuff that does that, but it's like clunkier, it's not the same. I'm not saying like hook it up to chat frickin' GPT. I'm saying, you know, I'm saying like basically integrate like the usage of the database into training a model that will figure out like where and how and what to put indexes on. I think that would be super useful. But anyway, I digress. So create a mechanism that updated. What did we do? We did this. Windows time. Oh yes. Okay. So variant of the metadata driver. So suppressing the whining. There's another matter. Detect what version of the metadata. Oh, yes, okay. This should be this. Is. No, on their own time. Where's on their own time? No, where's on. That's what we're looking at. So, how do we determine when the user. How does the user invoke the schema upgrade or the freaking, yeah, schema upgrade. Upgrade to the metadata schema. Hello, where'd my keyboard go? Oh, no, you didn't. Uh-oh. Nope. One moment, folks. That was weird. So where was I? Dude, you're messed up. How does the user force the upgrade? Or we'll just say assent to upgrading. Why are you so slow? Oh, we're getting real wacky now. Why did you completely just rotate everything around? That's what I don't understand about life. How does the user assent to upgrading the metadata store? The user assents to upgrading the metadata store by once again pass in an initialization parameter. To upgrade. I'm like really pleased that the damn Ethernet dongle that is keeping this thing real is not crashing yet. Is this a specialization of detect what version? Oh, that's annoying. You can really tell you're in the weeds. Where are we here, create a mechanism that grunt. Yes. So we're getting there as far as the requirements are concerned. I mean, that's what I've been doing. If you're wondering what the hell any of this is, these are software requirements. This is I would consider this like alpha software, this thing called Sense Atlas. And, what is this? Somebody tries to access the main collection window. The first window into the collection. That is not even part of this. Okay. That's definitely one thing that I have to do with this visualization is it does dumb things and it needs to be cleaned up. These are, who does this anyway? Done, create a set of catalog resources, yeah. Done stuff should just not even show up really. That's a design question that needs to be under what conditions would you want the done to be? I'm just gonna pop that open for a second. Another thing I haven't resolved, haven't figured out how I'm gonna do it, is this design I'm meh about anyway, but no, there's some stuff that I think makes sense. I think this thing makes sense. I mean, in general, this specifically, whatever. We're not worried about that right now. Where are we at though? Let's create a mechanism that upgrades all the ball. And this one is detect what version. Okay. What is this? To the manager for yeah. So let's just go back to here. One thing I don't have yet is a timeline. So all these sort of minty green things are tasks. And a task is supposed to have an allocation. And I guess theoretically a task is supposed to have an allocation by default, but you're not really gonna see it. Jesus Christ, what the frick? Enough. Anyway. Let me see, task allocations. Yeah. So that's sort of the question is to what extent do tasks note that a task is not the same as a position. So the thing with the gavel is the position, and the thing with this screwdriver and wrench is a task. Position is just a decision, whereas a task is something you actually have to do. And Why is computa so slow? Anyway, variant. Let's just go. Oh, right. So these, the unfortunate thing about this is these refactorings that have to happen. Actually, I think like I might be done-ish. What I don't have though is I don't have, yeah, like I don't have a timeline. And so I'm like kind of getting the point, like basically like what I've been trying to do with this is like put enough data into it that I can like sort of take the visualization to the next level. Because it's kind of like, I'm doing a bunch of things at once. Like I'm modeling the data. I'm making this app, this front end, you know. I am making the back end, and I'm making like a freaking application server that runs this thing. And yeah, and like doing the UI, I guess that's what the front end is, and the data semantics. I already said that. And it's just like, you know, and then like, you know, eventually we'll try to market the thing. But now it's really just a matter of trying to figure out like this is a very preliminary structure. The data structure is fine. The like sort of the like there's like technical aspects of like, okay, like if I was going to switch the view on this, or if I was going to have an alternate view, like how would that look? Like where would that go? I don't know, yeah. So, I mean, and there's other ways of doing it too. Like there's just, yeah, I mean, you know, like I have this like just like stuff like context. I don't even remember what that is. And dependency depends on. Yeah, depends on. Don't remember what that is and what that's supposed to do, but I'm getting tired. Probably because I drank 2 glasses of Acertico, and I have done this enough of what I want to do. I think I've actually sort of mapped this out. Like if I want to, I'll go through it though anyway, just to let's like scroll it back up to the top. Which one is that? This. No. Nope. What is this? Okay, that is far. We're gonna see this thing in like all its glory. What is this? What is it doing there? Oh wow, that. What is this? Oh yeah, so that's the one actually. So that's all this stuff over here. That's what I just made today. I'm not really too sure why it's. So what is this? Implement internal caching. That's where I started. Wow. Right. So we started with like Google is going to get rid of XSLT, create a server-side XSLT transform. It's going to be slow. So we implement caching. Now caching, you can see there's a bunch of stuff that depends on caching. It's not just this, but this is what spurred it. There's issues in there. How are we going to represent the metadata? We already figured that out and did that. How do we handle private cache entries? I don't know yet. Let's see. We'll figure that out. But where am I at here? This. That. This. No, this. Implement caching, yes, okay. It's like hard to find stuff. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Anyway. So then we can just traverse that again. So like extend store digest. This is the implement internal caching, blah 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 blah, and all these things. Got it, good. So yeah, anyway. I am feeling tired. So I'm gonna shut it off and veg out for 2 hours before passing out.